Hello, Internet. It is I, Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today we're going to be talking about Ordinary Angels. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. We got our two leads here. We got Hilary Swank and Alan Richson. Yeah, Richson. Hope I'm saying that right. I don't think I am. I've been botching names like this whole weekend with these videos. Ugh. So Hilary Swank. Okay, she's been in quite a few movies. Her first was her first movie. The Next Karate Kid. Look, I don't care what any of you say. That movie is like a fave of mine, not because it's good, but because it's so just dumb and weirdly enjoyable. But yeah, that was like our first movie. But hey, I mean, it's not the best way to start your career, but hey, you got to start somewhere, right? And then there's next is like Boys Don't Cry. I believe that was I think it's considered like a classic nowadays. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. There's that. I don't know about Insomnia. I don't think she had a huge role in that. The Core, nobody remembers that movie. Million Dollar Baby, people remember that movie quite a bit. Like that was like from Clint Eastwood. That is one of the saddest movies you will ever watch. Like seriously, I believe that's how she win her Oscar from that. I'm pretty sure she won an Oscar. I know she won an Oscar. I believe she did. I will fact check that. Million Dollar Baby. Yes, she did win an Oscar for that, as she should, because she was incredible in that movie. And then after that, just a whole lot of nothing. um, like not much to really say. I mean, like you got Freedom Riders, you got P.S. I Love You, you got New Year's Eve. Yeah, a whole lot of nothing. Here. So, but she's still a recognizable face. Then we got Alan. I keep saying Richardson. I don't. There's no It says Richson. I keep messing up this dude's name. Ugh. But yeah, Alan Richson. Uh. Well he first started in like the Hunger Games Catching Fire as like one of the District 1 tributes who got killed like unceremoniously. Oh, he did the motion capture and was the voice of Raphael in the Bay Turtle movies, a role he absolutely hated. He hated his experience with those movies. I'm not super sure why. I never really looked that deep into it, but I imagine it's a pretty good reason why he hated doing those movies. Or at least I think he hated doing the 2014 movie. I believe, yeah. Yeah, it was that first movie. I don't know about the sequel, but I know it was that first movie he just hated. Then after that, not much really like on the big screen. I mean, he was in Fast X as one of the new characters who became like the new bad guy. Oh, spoiler alert, became the new bad guy during the movie. But like on the small screen, I mean, you've definitely seen him from the show Reacher on Amazon Prime. That show is big. That's one of Amazon's like biggest shows, like legit. So it just had like its second season a couple months ago, and that was a big hit. So Alan Richardson, like he's been seeing a lot more lately, especially the last like 2-ish years. So it's becoming more and more recognizable thanks to Reacher. So yeah, I would say these two like being very recognizable. I would label that as a pro, not a strong pro, but still a pro at the end of the day. Another pro, the reviews for this movie are pretty solid, a lot better than what you would expect. 81%, that is quite good. I'm not going to label that as a negative. Audience score is way better, 99%. When's the last time you saw a score that high for anything? And cinema score is an A plus. Haven't seen that in a while. Not even Bob Marley got that. That only got an A. Although, granted, this is like I believe it's a faith based movie, so the audience is historically easy to please and easy to piss off at the same time. But like when you like make a movie like for that group, if you do it the right way, then they'll eat it up. Like, and they'll just give it like an A plus cinema score. So word of mouth is good across the board. Critics, audiences, cinema score, no negatives there. So that's a pro. Another pro, I guess, is the fact that um I guess direct competition, there really isn't anything really. Everything else is just kind of dead in the water, with the exception of like Bob Marley. Um, but yeah, right now there's just not a whole lot out there, so I'm gonna label that as a pro too. And I think that's it with pros. Okay, cons. This being a faith-based movie, faith-based movies are historically difficult to predict. It's a very volatile genre, to say the least, because sometimes you have like a big hit. Okay, like say last year had Jesus Revolution come out the same time last year. That did quite well for itself. That made some money. But not every movie can be that. Okay? It's just not realistic. There's a lot of flops, a lot of absolute disasters here when it comes to faith-based movies. Like it's very much feast or famine when it comes to this genre. I mean like try to think like the major ones, the ones that actually did well. Overcomer did well. I'm not gonna count I Still Believe. That movie was screwed because of COVID. Completely because of COVID. So not gonna be too harsh towards that. But yeah, like Overcomer, Breakthrough, Unplanned, I guess, but not really. I Can Only Imagine, that was a big hit. Like that, The Shack, Miracles from Heaven, Risen, War Room, Heaven is for Real. Noah, that's kind of a controversial one. But made money at the end of the day. God's Not Dead, Son of God, stuff like that. Like that, Courageous. I guess Fireproof, stuff like that. It made money. Okay, but there are plenty of movies here that have made like next to no money, and are movies that I'm pretty sure most people have completely forgotten about. So yeah, it's very much a feast or famine type of genre. It's very unpredictable. So that unpredictability, I'm gonna label that as a con, because I don't know how this will do. But I already have an idea. It's not looking too great, at least with the early numbers I've seen. So con number one is the unpredictability of its genre. Con number two is its preview number is real weak. I wasn't expecting anything massive, obviously, for a movie like this. That's just silly. But 285,000, ugh, that's not great at all. That doesn't scream, you know, that doesn't scream hit to me. Although, I mean, hell, like Jesus Revolution last year, that had a preview of 3.3 million. Although that was like several days worth of previews, like wrapped in the one, so it's kind of an unfair comparison. But still, I mean, look at that number and look at Ordinary Angels number. Like, yeah, that's a pretty big gap between those numbers. So yeah, weak Thursday previews. I'm gonna label that as a con. Another con is the fact that, well, I didn't even mention like the marketplace. It's so sad and depressed. Like this is not the time to be going to the movies. This is the time to be using the weekend to sleep. That's pretty sure what most people have been doing ever since the holidays ended. So I mean that's what I've been doing for the most part. So yeah, yeah, just an overall depressed marketplace. That's gonna change real quick once Doom Part 2 comes out next week, and I might as well mention that too. Doom Part 2, the first event of 2024, a movie that's been hyped up nonstop, and the hype machine is only gonna keep going until you know, it releases next Friday. And when it releases, it is going to crush everything in its path. Every other movie out is just gonna suffer Some might suffer like a little bit, some will suffer a lot. This won't suffer too much. I can't imagine it would, but it's still gonna take a hit. Every movie's gonna take a hit because of Doom Part 2. So yeah, the imminent arrival of Doom Part 2, that's a con. That's a big con. And I think that's it. So opening weekend, I'm gonna predict, I don't know, 5 to 7 million opening weekend, and it's total, I don't know, maybe 15 to 20 million if it's lucky. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna go with. So yeah, that's it for that, and that's it for the weekend. Yay! Ugh. All right, so that was February. That really sucked. There's only like one bit of positivity that whole month, and that was Bob Marley. Everything else was miserable. But March looks a lot better, looks a lot more healthy because you got Doom Part 2 next week, and that should make some serious money. And then the rest of March, Kung Fu Panda 4, like theoretically should make money. I'm not sure if it will, but we'll see. There's that. And then there's Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. There's Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire. So big movies will be coming out next month, which is something we've been really missing since like the end of last year. So, I mean, that's good. But then unfortunately, we have April, and then we're going to get back to the being shitty again. And then summer looks real grim. So, yeah, like March might be like the only happy month we get like this whole year, potentially. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, a lot can happen. Okay. But yeah, so that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share the whole drill. You want to check out more videos like this? I got playlists on the homepage. All previous prediction videos I made this year. You want to watch any of the ones I made this year, the past few years, go right ahead. There's also box office, the canceled series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. I talked about Ordinary Angels, I believe, a few times. Yes, 3 times. First time was episode 182, where I talked about it alongside Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken, and Knights of the Zodiac. The second time was episode 205, where I talked about it alongside Dumb Money and What Happens Later. Oh, and Cabrini. How could I forget about that one? Oh, I should mention um Ordinary Angels. This was supposed to come out the same day as the Taylor Swift Eras tour. That was the plan. October 13th. It was supposed to come out then. And then they moved it, obviously, because it stood no chance against Taylor Swift. I mean, what movie would, honestly? So, yeah, so that was the second time. It was like removed from the schedule entirely for a bit, but it got a date, eventually. Episode 208, that's when it got its date. And I talked about it alongside Saltburn, Silent Night, American Fiction, and Dix the Musical. So, yeah. Those are the 3 times I talked about it. I also made a cancel episode like this week. 235. That was about Mickey 17, The Crow, the Untitled Guy Ritchie movie, and Ballerina. So you want to watch that or any other ones I've done, you want to binge them all from beginning to now, I highly encourage you to do that, so go do it. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. Yeah, my February recap won't be till the first week of March, so stay tuned for that. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made on the channel, you can go right ahead. I can tell you that February recap is going to be depressing as hell. Let me tell you, it is not going to be a fun time. But still, stay tuned for it. But yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.